Level up your success with the ICABA World Network, where accomplished Black professionals and entrepreneurs have created a thriving global ecosystem built from valuable connections and impactful collaborations. Be a part of a trusted network that uplifts, inspires, and enhances your success. Join like-minded and leading Black professionals to foster meaningful relationships, unlock opportunities, and access the resources you need to thrive in your career, business, and life. Go to ICABAWorldNetwork.com and join today.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome.
Morning.
Good morning. And
Good morning.
welcome to ICABA Biz Connect on this February 12th. I hope everybody's having a great day. And we're going to get off to a good start here this morning. And we're excited to have you here. So folks are logging in, so we'll give folks a chance to get on in here. Any of you guys have any challenges logging on this morning? Okay.
No.
Okay, good. I know I am just got another message from someone who seems to having issue, but I guess we'll get them squared away. And so I'm trying to guess maybe what's going on is a lot of folks are here on video. That's what it is. Looking to see where a lot of you guys were here. So one of the things that we like to do is that with the these kind of meetings, obviously, technology has given us a great opportunity to be able to connect with each other virtually. It saves us time, no travel time, and all that good stuff, and we can get back right to work, so to speak, once we're done. But we also want to give people a chance here to connect with each other, and it's easier to connect with when we see each other than sometimes looking at the business card. So if you can, we ask that you would turn your camera on and participate, and it kind of adds to, if you will, the experience for everyone. And we welcome you to our Wednesday, February 12th edition of ICABA Biz Connect, and we're excited to have you here with us today. And we've got a great lineup for you today. We're going to be talking about how we are going to grow wealth and elevate our businesses. And we're going to start with growing wealth through government contracting. And we have 3 ICABA members here with us today. And we're excited that we have just really one of the leading individuals in the space of government contract with us today. His name is Eric Coffie, and Eric is the president of GovCon. And so I'm going to share my screen so we can see a little bit more about him and profile on ICABA. So give me a second, I'll do that. There we go. So there's Mr. Coffie. And so Eric spends most of his day teaching people how to win extraordinary contracts. And for the past 6 years, his GovCon Giants podcast has really been doing that. He's also now doing a couple of, he has had 2 GovCon summits at the Fontainebleau here in Miami. And he is just expanding his reach and his capacity to help folks who he is doing through his own experience. He had his own challenges with government contracting. He kind of figured out the code. And unlike maybe a lot of people, after he figured out the code, he says, I'm going to share that knowledge with other people so that they could be able to do the same thing. His expertise is in brand strategy, social media, government contracts, real estate, construction, and also with YouTube. So for all of you folks out there who are thinking about, branding and getting your message out and so on and so forth, he's someone that can help you with that as well. And as I mentioned, he is the president of GovCon Giants. And so without any further ado, I am going to bring Eric Coffie to the front. And Eric, it is all yours, sir.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate that. That's just Sam.
Hey everyone, how's it going today? I hope everyone's doing well. And it's interesting because I've been teaching online photo procurement since 2017, and then I have my podcast I started in 2018. Like Hutch mentioned, I've had a couple of conferences. I've actually been doing government contracting back since 2008, the real estate market crash. I took at that time two companies. I scaled them seven figures in under 18 months. And then my own company, we did about $25 million in sales, primarily building steel buildings around the country, all federal contracts with the government. But more importantly, right, what does that mean to you today? And what are some of the things that people are asking me? Obviously, we know under this current administration, there's a lot of executive orders happening. There's a lot of things with DUI, DEI. I say DUI, DEI. And so it's those are the questions that people have been asking me about a lot. Is how does this affect federal contracts and what are my opinions? So I think there'd be time well spent today. I think Hutch just gave me 15 minutes, 10 minutes to talk, 5 minutes of Q&A. So I am I'm pretty long-winded, so that's a hard window for me to stay in. But I'll do my best because I have respect for everybody's time today. So a couple things I want to talk about. One is, just the notion of DEI versus small business programs. They're not the same thing. Hold on, this thing keeps popping up on my screen. The notion of DEI versus small business programs. I recently made content on this subject, but just so that everyone on this call knows, and for the people who are going to be listening afterwards, the small business programs and small business certifications are not executive orders. They're actually created in the Small Business Act. This act dates back to 1953. And so you can see it was enacted by Senate and the House of Representatives and Congress. So this, unlike any of these other programs that were kind of like written by a executive decision. And I get it. A lot of people do not know how our government works. So it's very unclear when you're hearing the news and they're saying they're taking away all this stuff that like, well, this just affects everything. And it's like, well, it doesn't, right? And so I say that because that's one of the common questions people are asking me. The Small Business Act and all the programs like women-owned certification, small business programs, 8A, Hub Zone, all those programs fall under the Small Business Act. So if they want to take that program away, they'd have to put a bill before Congress. The Senate's got to approve it. The House got to approve it. And then, the president signs off. I'm not saying they can't do that, but that is a different process than just signing executive actions to take those away. So I just wanted to put that out there so that people can have some sense of comfort and knowing that, like, if you are in one of these small business programs, they're not going away. In fact, right now, as we're hosting this event, it's the National 8A Conference in New Orleans. There's like 3,000 people there. All the federal agencies are there. I mean, I'm getting messages. There's parties. So regardless of what you're seeing on TV, they're hosting the largest small business conference in the country right now in New Orleans as we're speaking.
Got it.
And so if it was such a halt on all this federal spending, why are all the federal agencies there? Why is the Navy there? Why is the Army there? Why is the Department of Defense there? Why is someone so I say that because, as you can see, I get passionate about these things, and Jacqueline knows me because people are watching the news and not actually seeing what's happening in the real world. Like if you just program to the news, you get this much picture of the real world things. We are actively planning events, attending conferences. Like Hutch said, I put on a conference last year. We had 26 federal agencies there. I'm going to put on the conference this year. We're expecting to double that number of agencies. We would not be investing our money into a marketplace that's going away. All of my colleagues, and I mean all of them, my closest circle of friends all are doing 90 million, 100 million, 200 million, 150 million dollars. They're texting me. I just got a text yesterday. Hey, do you have a company for me to acquire, to buy in the GovCon space? They're not going away. They're doubling down. So if you take that position, then it's really you're letting the news cycle scare you out. I mean, basically you're self-defeating because you are eliminating yourself without anybody actually eliminating you. Just off the bat. So I say that because I have to get that out the way, because everything else I say come afterwards won't matter to you if you believe, well, it's all going away, Eric. So what am I going to try for? I get those comments. I get about 60,000 views of my channel every month. And I promise you, from people who are not in the business, they're not in the game, they're not doing activities, they're not going to talk. You're not even talking to people. Like, we're making these assumptions without talking to the first person in government. Did you call anybody at the SBA? Have you spoken to anybody at the Navy? Like, have you even talked to anybody about Homeland Security and said, hey, what are you seeing? We're worried about them cutting down the grants. I don't teach grants. I teach contracts. First and foremost, I've been telling people anyways, contracts and grants are not the same thing. But we somehow seem to think that grants are the way to get over and get ahead. We teach contracts. And Jacqueline knows me. I don't mince words. Hutch knows me too. Anybody knows me knows I don't, when it comes to that. So I say this because I want us to understand, right? And even on top of the grant programs, that doesn't affect us as business owners. The majority of those grant programs went to other organizations, like went overseas to other organizations that don't affect us anyways. So we're sitting here getting upset about things that have no bearing on us, unless you want to just be a political activist for your taxpayer sake. And you should have just did that when you, like 20 years ago, not just now in this administration, because there's a lot wrong with our government. We wouldn't be in so much debt if there wasn't. So I say that to say, okay, so I did a video recently, talked about 5 ways that we can start making money under this era. The other thing I want to just kind of put out there really quickly is that even with all the small business programs, that represents about 10%, 12% of all contracts. So even if that disappear, you're talking about 10% of the pie, where there's 100% of the pie. So we still are eliminating ourselves from the whole opportunity by saying we only want to focus on this slither, right? Only women-owned contracts, only small business contracts, only 8A, like that small slither of opportunities. So I did this recently. And I did a video on this, and you guys go back and check it. But here are some of the things that I talked about that I have students right now. And again, videos made public. They're on my site showing these different opportunities here and ways that people are winning contracts. So again, a lot of people I know are still using DLA DIBS, Unison Market, that DLA DIBS program, 3,000 to 4,000 opportunities every single day, no certifications. Unison Marketplace, no certifications. NICO, no certifications. Logistics contracts through GSA, no certifications. IT programs through the Combat Command. And again, these are all links to all this stuff, which I can make available to anybody. Catering contracts. I know students right now that are doing catering contracts. They've been doing it for 5 years through the last 2 administrations at the border. While everyone else is complaining about the people coming across the border, he was the one making the food and serving them while they're being housed in tents on the border. While everyone else is complaining, he was providing catering services to those people at the border. Somebody has to feed them people. That would be a humanitarian crisis if we just housed them and didn't feed them. There's no kitchens there. There's no restaurants at the border. So guess what they do? They bring in all the food. And I've got a kid that's in his 20s that he started that business. And since then, he's done millions of dollars of feeding the people at the border. So rather than look at this as a situation where we're going to complain about and fuss about, we're like, how do we solve this issue? When I say logistics, the reason why I'm bringing up logistics is because we have people that are, again, on my channel in our communities that literally are providing the transportation to move people back and forth. Again, I'm not talking about how you personally feel about this stuff, but people and bodies got to move back and forth, transport it. How do you think the people get on the planes? How do you think the people get in housing? How do you think the people get from the border to the other states? All those services are contracted out. The government's not putting them in government-owned trucks and government-owned buses and government-owned anything to get them out. So those are some opportunities, but I want to stop there and I'll take some Q&A because I don't know how much time I got left, Hutch. I don't want to burn it up.
Yeah, no, you're doing good, but let's go ahead and open up for some Q&A. I think that would be helpful. So, guys, turn your cameras on and unmute yourself and raise your hand so we can see you. And we'll also pick up anything that you put into the chat as well. And so if you've got anything, Haven't seen anything in the chat yet. Let's see what we got here. If there's one question, looks like just popped up. So, can you talk about opportunities that do not require certifications? What type of contracts that don't require certifications, I guess is the question.
Everything here I just listed, none of those require certifications. That's
Products
what
that
that was what I just said. None of these require certifications.
what is Unison Marketplace?
Here we go. So Unison Marketplace, you go on Unison Marketplace, establish an account, and then what it does is similar to like a reverse auction. So the government puts in here opportunities under a certain threshold. I don't know the number now, maybe 250,000 or less. And
Mm-hmm.
then what they do is you pull it down, and then you get to bid on those opportunities. There is no certifications or set aside, none of that. You just bid on the opportunities. So every single thing I listed here, there is no certifications required. That's why I listed it there.
Right. Are there any particular types? I guess that's really kind of what I was looking at. Like DLA Dibs, the Unison Marketplace. Are there certain types of industries that they're looking for, like myself?
So DLA Dibs, that's they typically here. So if you go to DLA Dibs, this is the Defense Logistics Agency. And so when you scour through this, there's like I said, 3 to 4,000 bids a day. Every like let me repeat, 3 to 4,000 per day, daily. So when you go in here, there's all types of opportunities. The Unison Marketplace. Let me see if I can log in. I haven't logged into these things in a while. Let me see if I still have my account here. When you go into here, there's probably, let's see, what do they have listed? Okay, there's 182 opportunities in here right now. So you could scour through and see the type of opportunities. So, okay, let's see. Short-term lodging, vehicle and trailer tire replacement, laser printers, leasing, bicycle shelters, generator maintenance. So there's not, these are all just open marketplaces where you can bid on things. Now, again, you have to do your research to see what you fits. But look, I mean, Hutch, can we all not do LED light bulbs?
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, when people say, like, breakers, I mean, a 6K forklift. I actually advise people to do things like forklift and rental equipment because you can actually get credit from forklift companies like Hertz Rentals and Sunbelt. They give you credit, 30-day credit, so you can actually provide a 6K forklift. I had a student of mine provided a $200,000 piece of equipment to the government because they got credit on it, and they just sold them one of those machines. So.
Hey, Eric, let me ask you this, because one of the things that I know is a part of people who are doing particularly significant business with the government, we may not sometimes always have the products and services that we want to bid on or to pursue. I have a good friend who several years ago, and you made me think about it when you said LLD, because he ended up doing a $5 million contract with Broward County Convention Center to provide lighting. Okay. But in essence, he was really a broker, and so
Sure.
he was getting the lighting coming from a distributor and just kind of passing it
Sure.
through. Talk about how, partnerships can help someone get into the space if they don't have everything that they need in terms of delivering something, but they know something about a particular area and how they can leverage relationships.
Yeah, for me, that's the only thing that we teach because no one that I know has everything. I haven't met, and there's no one in my courses or classes that have everything. All of the people have to bring some sort of resources from someone else, whether it's capital, whether it's past performance or experience, because when you start getting to these things, they do get complicated. So there may be multiple, you might need someone to provide the actual product. You may need someone to install it. You may need someone to ship it. You may need someone to house it. We've got an opportunity right now that the FAA sent to me, well, one of my team members, and it's down in South Florida, and they're looking for someone, Hutch, to move some furniture out, some FAA buildings, store it for 9 months, and then be able to return it back to them. So there's things like that as well. That again, none of these things are related to certifications. And so when you actually look at anything in terms of, and I don't want to get too complicated, but there's certain dollar thresholds that the government has, and anything under that threshold automatically just goes to small business. And small business, by the way, is not a certification. It's based on your revenue amount. So you don't actually certify to have it. If your revenues fall below this threshold, you're considered a small business. But it's not a certification. It's how you're classified just based on your revenue amounts. But again, none of the things that I'm talking about have anything to do with certifications. That is just somehow we all have this in our brain that certifications is the only way to get contracts. I absolutely, I can't tell you how bad I stand. I can't stand that because they could fixated us to only focus on that slice and not the whole opportunity.
Yeah, great point, man. Really great point. Denise
Yep.
Simmons.
Hi, good morning, Eric. Thanks for all this
How are you,
information. I
Denise?
just wanted to find out, hi, I just wanted to find out, are your courses offered online or are they in person?
Our course offered online,
Okay.
and we are starting to do some live in-person masterminds. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, it's a great question. The masterminds that we're going to doing will be industry specific. So right now, we are planning 3 masterminds this year. One is on construction, one is on professional services, and then one will be on product sales. And they'll be in different cities around the country. So, but our course is we have an entire community online, 4,000 people in our community. It's free to join,
Wow.
and anyone could join that community. It's called federalhelpcenter.com. And in that community, Denise, actually is where, so this is our private community. Again, it's free to join. But in this community, you'll see where, for example, like what I mentioned to you guys this morning, you'll see here, the FAA reached out to us for looking for a logistics company that can move items out of Florida. The sole source negotiation opportunity. It's for federal members only. So, you'll see where we talk about different opportunities. And then also we have webinars where we go over, right, how to do these things. So we bring in different speakers and experts that talks about how to get started in this world. So,
Nice. All
and then
right.
you'll be up
Thanks,
to date
sis.
on all the stuff that we're doing. Yeah. And,
All
I
right. So,
found, Denise, by the way, for everyone, it's easier when you make the decision to do this, to go into community of people that are doing it. Because if you work in a silo, you're going to get discouraged. You're going to lose faith. You're going to lose hope. And you're going to, it's just hard to stay strong, right? You bid something, you don't win, you get a debriefing, and you're like, what happened? And you don't have anyone to talk to. One of our students recently, Denise, I'll share the story with you. She joined my community, and again, free, not even the paid portion. And she met some people in my community, and Hutch, she was able to finance her first contract because of a video I showed her how to get vendor credit. And then she got a student that was in the community to give her credit reference, and she financed her first contract. That the material was $170,000. She got that finance through the credit signed by another student. She was able to deliver that, and then once she completed that project, she got an SBA line of credit for $25,000, which allowed her to get a bond for $500,000. And so now she has bonding, and now she can start actually bidding on construction projects. So these are the things that we do for people. We've successfully trained over 7,000 students and counting. So,
Well, it's
By
definitely
the
one
way,
why we try to emphasize how important it is to connect, collaborate, to elevate. And so further together. And guys, it's one of the reasons we do ICABA-Biz Connect, to connect you to people, relationships, information, opportunities to elevate your business. And to Eric's point, you got to kind of stay around and be involved in places where things are going on. People are talking about opportunities in different kind of ways, and so on and so forth. So I am so glad that Eric is making some of these comments. We got about 4 more minutes, so we can take a couple more questions. And Eric, while we're waiting for someone to ask a question, I'm sure there's something, tidbit, piece of information that you might want to advice to share.
yeah. So the
I'm
last thing.
sorry.
Oh,
Good
go ahead.
morning,
Go ahead,
Eric.
morning.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
This is Sylvia, and I'm in the car, so I can't see the hands. But I have a question. You mentioned earlier that there was an opportunity either on your site or in one of the government sites to store furniture for nine months.
Yep.
Is that an active opportunity, or
Yes.
how do I get information on that?
That opportunity is reserved for our members only.
So how? if I
She wants to
become a
know how to
member.
become a member.
She didn't say that, Hut. She didn't say that. She said she wanted opportunity.
Yeah, I know, but
There's an
I'm connecting the
opportunity
dots.
there,
Hey,
but there's an opportunity to become a member for that opportunity. So how do I become a member?
well, again, join Federal Help Center. You could call us. You can email us. You know,
Okay.
so that's the thing is, one of the things that I try to tell people, the reason why we make this for members, Hutch, because I want to make sure that people know what they're doing.
Okay.
Like if you're not a member, I can't vouch for you to the FAA. You know what I'm saying? These people coming to me, I can't put my name out there for a stranger on the streets. So people that are in my community, Hutch, I get just like you get to know them, you get to know who they are, right? I can't do that for people off the streets. So that's why we make it that way, because I can definitely, because again, they're coming to me as the authority, asking me for references for people to help do this.
Well,
So,
Eric, let me ask you to do this. Can you put
Well-
some information in the chat for anybody who wants to join?
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So Eric will put
Absolutely.
that information in the chat, guys. Let's see if there's another question out there. Good to hear from you, Sylvia. When I heard about that furniture, I thought about you, so I'm glad that you're there. This is definitely
Thank
right up
you.
our alley.
Well, I'm going to mute myself to not disturb with all the noise. Guys,
Okay.
have a great morning.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Any other questions for anybody?
I just had a comment that Eric, that Denise Ennis you were speaking with, that's the Denise that has the yacht. That
Yes,
when
no,
you
I'm aware of that.
okay, because I
I'm
was
aware.
telling you about that a while ago. And
No,
so
I know. No, I'm aware. I know who Denise is. We met in
Oh.
person.
Oh,
We
you
met at an
finally-
event at Travis Mack event.
Awesome. Okay.
She was with
great.
what's our friend name that works with Jawan Strahler?
Strader? Juwan?
Strader.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about. Denise, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Is there any more questions?
Trying to remember.
We got
Okay.
we're going one time, going twice, going
No
three
questions?
times? Okay.
I mean, I was gonna so one thing I was gonna finish out with in the presentation, just so people would know. And again, this might be high level, but again, I still like to share it with folks because I just don't know who's listening. Just like I didn't know who's listening about the furniture contract, right? So I never know who's listening. The last thing I wanted to share was, right, many of us have probably heard about the wealth transfers happening, all the baby boomers, the $20 trillion of wealth transfers happening out there. So, again, on here, and if you guys want this doc, I can share it with you. I don't care. I can put this in the chat. But on here, you can actually go to, let's see, where is it at? Oh, here it is. Okay. So on here is a link to the SBA's website where they list all the top 7A lenders. And the 7A program is where you actually do business acquisition. And literally, so for example, Live Oak Banking, they're number 2 lender in the country, 701 loans, $800 billion, 1.2 million. They strictly help. I personally know the people there. They've been on my show. I did events with them. They said the fastest way for any minority to grow their business is through acquisition, and they help you do that. So I just want to say that because these are things that, for me at least, I never knew any of this stuff before. And I'm very blessed to be able to share this with people who may have been thinking about this, who may have heard about it, and may want some more information. Because as I learn more, I just pour out and share what's available to folks. So we now are actively talking about business acquisition, and we are also there's some other people that we know that teach courses on that we're making available to our students, and we're inviting them to participate. I can't guarantee they'll get in, but as I get the information, I just share it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Dr. Roundtree.
Okay.
Yes, hi, good morning, Eric. Just 2 quick things. I caught myself trying to take a screenshot because I'm on my phone and I ended up disconnecting myself. Would you please put your information in the chat again? Because since I had to log back in, it's no longer, I can no longer
Okay.
see.
I could do that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And
Thank
then
you.
quick question. Are you related to Adriana Coffie?
My last name is Coffie. I don't know Adriana.
Yeah, okay. Same last name, but
Really?
no.
Where's she located?
Or Adriana Ortez Coffie. She's located in I believe Wellington area.
No, I don't know her. I don't know
Okay,
her.
okay.
But
No
that doesn't
other-
mean I'm not related.
Okay. Thank
I,
you.
I want to qualify that.
Okay.
I never knew my dad's side of the family.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And thanks for
Thank
putting
you.
your
All
information.
right, I'll put it back in. Thanks,
Thank
Hutch.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Hey, thank you guys. Thanks a lot, Eric. And I'm going to be getting ready to put Eric's information where you can connect with him on ICABA into the chat. So just look for the link for Eric Coffee there, and you'll be able to connect with him. Also, I will be adding, putting up, matter of fact, I'm going to do it right now. Go ahead and launch the poll. If you could give Eric some feedback in terms of how you felt that he did today, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. And it's always gives feedback is always very helpful. And as I'm doing this, I'm also going to ask someone, and I'm going to pick someone who's on camera to introduce themselves and kind of do a little quick spotlight. And so I'm looking around. I see a couple people on, and I had somebody on mine, but she went off camera. So Jackie, tell people a little bit about you got 30 seconds. Tell them who you are and what you do, and go right ahead.
Jacqueline Jimenez, and I am a news producer and media strategist. And what I do is I help businesses identify news stories where they in their business or organization. Then I help them either get news coverage or I produce news stories for social media. And I also hold workshops and master classes on how to generate news coverage, often using your cell phones.
All right, well, fantastic. We definitely appreciate that, and I am putting into the link for Eric Coffee, a link to his profile so that you can connect with him on ICABA World Community. And
And
so,
I had like the opportunity to cover Eric Coffey's GovCon Summit, which I encourage you to go to.
okay.
Incredible.
Thank you, Jackie. So now we want to introduce our next speaker, and her name is Telena Paris. And so I am going to put her on. Also, something I forgot to tell our speakers today, and just to let you all know, as we always spotlight our speakers, when I come up next to you on the screen, that's when we're down to your last minute. Okay, so I forgot to mention it earlier in our pre-meeting, but anyway, just wanted to mention that that's the way easier for us to do that, so you don't have to worry about trying to keep up with the time. Let me also now, I want to share my screen so we can meet Miss Telena Paris here. And give me just a second. I'm pulling her up. So Telena, we are glad to have you here this morning. She is the founder and CEO of a couple of companies that I'm aware of, and I say that because she does a lot of things, and she has a lot of things under her portfolio. So Right Choice Consulting, and also Elevate You, and so. A little bit about her. She's a persuasive and influential executive leader with over 18 years of experience driving next level operations and empowering professionals across industries. Her expertise is in change management, executive development, leadership development, grant management, and also as a grant writer. Her superpower is transforming businesses and organizations through innovative leadership, strategic planning, and educational excellence. So as you can see, guys, on the ICABA platform, we kind of get right to the point of who you are and what you can do. So when someone is looking at your profile, they don't have to read a whole bunch of, biographical this and that. They can come right in, know who you are, your expertise, and your superpower and how you can really help them. And so without any further ado, Telena Paris, it is all yours.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, as always, Jerome. And what a great presentation we just had with Mr. Coffee. Thank you so much for all you did to share your insights of what you and your company does. So here today, I know that he mentioned that I represent a few companies, but we're going to be talking about Elevate You International. And the reason that is because it is a nonprofit that has been developed to assist small businesses as well as medium and corporations at a bird's eye view perspective. I want to kind of tell you what we do. So we kind of focus on government contract preparation and strategy, but we also focus on grant writing as well. I know that we had talked about grant writing and the position of our government as of right now and how things are changing. So I'm going to talk about some of those new insights that you need to look out for. We also hang around with financial literacy and grant assistance and programs that can help you. I also have a partnership with a bank who's a dear friend of mine that actually specializes in my minority funding. So if you are receiving a government contract and you are receiving funding that says that it's reimbursable, but you need money to hold you over till you get reimbursed, we have partnerships and strategic partnerships to help you get through that easily. We also help with leadership and training. Elevate U has over 300 developed courses, curriculum based that offer CEUs in the United States as well as internationally. So getting straight to the point, Elevate U overall, it's just an organization that is equipped to help you with tools, resources, and knowledge base that help you with not only your government contracting, but developing a strong financial background with business development and offering you a chance to secure funding and give you access to contract opportunities. So the importance of government contracting, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, and Mr. Coffee got up here and he did a wonderful job in telling us about contracting. But just to reiterate, we have over $700 billion awarded annually to small businesses. Whether or not you come in as a subcontractor, you come in as a contractor or prime, how you position your business depending on where you are in the state of your business is extremely important. So really understanding what your capabilities are is a good thing. So whether you talk to Mr. Coffee, talk to myself, you talk to someone else, make sure you know where your business, the strength of your business, and where you stand at as far as how you're positioned within your journey. Not everyone can go after a prime position when starting with contracting. So I suggest if you're just getting into it, get your feet wet. Start in as a subcontractor, start understanding the language, or start understanding how you can apply for these businesses. But by all means, do not cap yourself there. As you build momentum, as you gain more contracts, please elevate yourself into going in and hopefully becoming a prime one day. There is currently and previously, we are in new legislation. So money that was set aside for minority businesses, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses that are out there to help you as well. Just because in Mr. Coffee, we mentioned this before, and I was like, kudos, right? Just because we have a new legislation doesn't mean that the money stops. It just gets reallocated sometimes. So finding the right revenue stream and allocation of the new funding and seeing, okay, where does my business sit within those new not confinements, but new opportunities. And so if your business isn't tapping into government contracts, you're leaving a huge financial opportunity on the table. I've been writing for contracts, grants for over 18 years, multi-million-dollar contracts acquired with various industries out there. You would be surprised who gets contracts. Not everybody in engineering, not everybody in architectural design or agriculture. If you have a paper business, if you have a food service business, if you have a business that you probably wouldn't think that the government needs, you'll be surprised with what they go after. And because of the new climate that we have here, let's talk about, some of those things that people are wondering about when it comes to the Trump administration. In that particular administration, they're saying that they're limiting on DEI and a lot of these opportunities, but in reality, their whole position is to make sure that we buy in our backyard first. Now, I may not agree with all the tactics, and some of you may or may not agree with all the tactics, but one of the things for sure is that they're trying to look at businesses here before we're going elsewhere to do the contracting, which increases small business opportunities to be able to step up and say, you know what, I have it to offer, because they're searching. So to take that into consideration. Also, looking at that there are opportunities based off of your classification. So have you classified your business correctly? Have you done it with the right agencies and organizations? Or do you have your registration with SAMS.gov? Have you secured the proper NAICS codes? And they do change. So just because you had a NAICS code 10 years ago doesn't necessarily still mean that you still fit within that NAICS code. So we're always keeping up to date and making sure that your current information for how you represent your business to the government, to the public as well. There's a SAX code out there as well, making sure that you stay current with how they're positioning what you have to offer. I do believe in certifications. I think that it's a good thing to have your certifications. Is it the end all be all? Not always. But if you're not certified, some of the ones that you might want to think about is, the HubZone, or I think the SBA, SAA, those things or whatnot. And, a few others were mentioned by Mr. Coffee as well. I think you should really look into those. Really figure out which one is really going to position you. Don't just have a certification just to have a certification. Utilize it. Make sure that you're going to be able to gain gainful opportunities that are going to help you support your business. Contractor relationships, I'm going to tell you this right now. You need partnerships, strategic partnerships. Please do not be afraid to work with other people. Even if you feel that you can do the whole bit yourself, make nice with other people, other opportunities and other companies that are out there, because it definitely will help you position yourself in future opportunities. They may think of you. Maybe they may hear about a bid that you weren't even aware of. There was a contract opportunity or a grant opportunity that you weren't aware of, but they know you're proficient. Build those strategic alliances and partnerships. And then also find out who the primes are out there that do what you do, and make nice with them, even if you are a smaller business, to see if you can help them provide the service. And and sometimes proficiency is everything, and sometimes a prime may not have it all, even if they do win the bid. The proposal writing mastery, I'm going to tell you this: if you want a contract, if you want to win a grant opportunity, this is a specialized area of interest of writing. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. You may be a great writer, but when it comes to contract writing or grant writing, you definitely want to take a course. You definitely want to, get with someone that's proficient at doing so. Or you may just find that it's just too mundane and too boring for you. So you might want to hire someone to help you with gaining access to these opportunities. But whatever you do, master the skill set, or have someone on your team or with your team to help you with that, with presentation. Do not, and I know that AI is currently the new opportunity for all, but please, there are ways and trackers that in the government realm as well as in the grant realm, because I also sit on compliance side of grant writing and contracting too, and we can find out if you went and chat GPT your entire submission. So I want to put that clause out there that, oh my God, yes, ChatGPT is great, but just know that on the other side, we are also analyzing what energy did you put into this? Where did you get your resources? Are you really just putting this together to gain access to dollars, but can you fulfill it? Because if we feel that you've done that and we find out that you have, then for us, it just comes off as that you're really not taking this seriously. Are you really taking your business seriously to go to the next level? So just be careful with how your utilization of AI and your submissions and how you can do so. I'm not saying AI is a bad thing, but make sure you know your business and that you've already redesigned your business and designed your services and programs. And if you need assistance or help to kind of give it that extra swagger or that extra okay, but please do not have it overly saturated with content that was not developed by your organization or yourself. And I'll leave it there with ensuring financial readiness, just kind of going back and reiterating, make sure you meet the DACA requirements, DCAA, and the FAR requirements as well. You want to look at cash flow planning and being prepared for delayed government payments. And remember, I told you that we actually work with the only bank in America that's owned by a Black-owned woman who's veteran-owned, and she's Afro-Latina, and she's out of Texas, but she works all over the United States, who helps funds situations like this, where if you have delayed government payments or you're on a reimbursement contract and you need to kind of get that funding to supplement, we have access to that. So I just wanted to kind of let you know that's there. Also, just be cognizant of invoice payments and payment management. Have a system in place. Make sure that your pricing strategy is competitive. Don't underbid yourself, okay? Just because you have the lowest bid out there doesn't mean you're going to win. Okay, so just be cognizant of that. Be competitive and stick by your brand and stick by your worth. Don't be scared to say this is the value here. Just because one contract says no doesn't mean another one. I've seen contracts where someone charges $250 an hour and another person charges $1,500 an hour, and the person that charged $1,500 an hour won the contract. So, but make sure you have your history, your historical data, your executive summaries, and so forth. I think, these are some of the insights that I wanted to offer you today. I think that having conversations with you all, being able to have, a capability to talk to you in silos is always important. So you can always find me in ICABA on online. You can always contact me via email as well to be able to sit down and actually talk about your projects further. Or if you want to partner with me, I am so open because I bid with the government too, with partnering with each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much, Hutch, for inviting me today and allowing me to share just a nugget of knowledge with everyone on the call today.
Well, thank you, Telena. Great presentation. I just put your link to your ICABA profile in the chat. So guys, so that you know, by virtue of using that link, it not only gives you our contact information, but it also tells you more about our company. So it's a full-fledged, if you will, kind of like almost a company brochure, so to speak. The same way if you're on LinkedIn. So you probably get a little bit more information here. So I am really excited, and we're also going to release the poll for Telena. So if you would take that poll, we'd appreciate it to give her some feedback. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Dominique Ricketts. And Dominique is a phenomenal guy out of West Palm Beach, and his company, Kingdom Wealth Managers, is really doing some great things. And I love the name. And he is working also with his wife there. And so it's a unique, if you will, husband and wife team, which seems to be kind of gaining more and more traction every day. I've seen it talk to more people who are doing and in business with their spouse. So let me tell you a little bit about Dominique. So I'm going to share. We're going to go to his ICABA profile. And as you can see, that's his brand, Kingdom Wealth Managers. One Kingdom, your values, our expertise. I love that, man. Good deal. So learning a little bit more about Dominique, he's the founder of Kingdom Wealth Managers, and he combines expert financial management with a faith-based mission. His team is dedicated to guiding you to financial security, upholding values of faith, community, and personal growth. Expertise is accounting, bookkeeping, financial operations, financial dashboards, and faith-based. And his superpower is empowering visionary leadership. So if you're a leader, you're a visionary, and you want to add some more power to it, then obviously Dominique is ready to talk to you. So Dominique, it is all yours, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the introduction, Hutch. All right. So we've been getting some good information today about government contracting and working with the government. And where I want to go today is everyone wants to make money, but we need to also keep that money, right? And so that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. So as Hutch said, my name is Dominique Ricketts. I am the founder and CEO of Kingdom Wealth Managers that I operate with my wife. I have 20 years of experience in corporate finance, working for Fortune 100 companies, mostly in aerospace, Pratt & Whitney, Sikorsky, Hamilton Sundstrand, and then also with telecommunications in terms of a company called SoftBank. And at KWM, we provide everything from bookkeeping, AR management, AP management, financial reporting, and financial dashboards, as Hutch said. But today, what I really want to talk about is money mindset. And I have a 3D mindset that I use when it comes to money management. And that is discipline, dedication, and determination. So I'm going to start with a quick story about Mr. Damon John. I think most people know him from Shark Tank. But if were born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, then you probably remember his clothing brand called FUBU. I remember him from back in the FUBU days. But really where his story starts is he was a guy who was just working out of Red Lobster. He had no investors, no funding, no connections. He just had a dream and he was a hustler. He maxed out his credit cards. He made FUBU hats in his mom's house and he sold them out of his car. So most of us probably would have quit by then, just with all that stacked against us. But what is evident about Mr. John is he had discipline, he had dedication, and he had determination. And that's what took him from where he was to where he is today. And so, from a discipline standpoint, discipline is what separates a business that thrives from one that just survives, right? So most business owners think making money will solve all their problems, right? I need more money, I need more money, I need more money. But you can make millions of dollars and still find yourself going broke because you aren't managing that money correctly. So, I'm sure you've kind of heard people say, oh, I've made all this money, but I'm still struggling. And that's because they're not really they're chasing the income and not really controlling their cash flow. And so the first part in being disciplined is you need to know where every dollar goes. Every dollar that comes into your business, you need to know where that is. So, from this standpoint, if I can give you guys a challenge for the next 30 days, track every dollar that comes in and out of your business. If you've got cash flow problems, or you're wondering how you're making all this money, but it's not being reflected in your bottom line, there's a leak somewhere, right? And so to be able to catch that leak, you have to identify it. And to identify it, you have to track it. So track all your dollars that come in and come out of your business for 30 days. And I promise you, you will find that leak. From a dedication standpoint, right? So hustling today is great, right? We all are working hard. We're all, trying to do what's next, and we're all building our kingdom, as we like to say, here. But dedication isn't just about working hard. It's about committing to financial habits that create stability. I'll repeat that again. Dedication isn't just about working hard. We all can work hard. It's about committing financial habits to create stability. So have you ever heard, a business owner say, I have all these sales coming in, but cash flow is still tight? Well, why is cash flow still tight? That's because they don't have a system in place. So you need to put a system in place that helps you balance when those tight cash times come. So my challenge for you, or my action step for anybody who falls into this category, is start setting aside, call it 5% of every dollar you make, right? Start putting that aside every time you make a dollar. Put away your 5 cents. It sounds like a small amount, and you could kind of grow that over time. But if you just start that small amount, it helps you when cash flow starts to get tight and things get a little, tight, that you have that additional cash flow sitting there to help you out. Then we talked about determination. In the case of Mr. John, we talked about going from Red Lobster to being on TV, and Shark Tank. And all of us, we're entrepreneurs, and we're great at grinding. Right, everyone, we just talked about all the different ways. Eric gave us all the different ways we can make money, making the government, and we can go and we can chase all these different ways. And it's not hard to make that money, but are we building something that will last? Are you building your kingdom, right? Again, it's a reference back to our company. It's your kingdom, your values, our expertise. But what is it that you're trying to build? Who are you trying to build that from? Because if we don't intentionally build wealth, then we'll keep repeating the same cycles over and over and over again. I grew up, and probably like some of you, watching my parents struggle with money. But we as entrepreneurs, we have the opportunity to break that cycle, because no one's putting a cap on how much money we can make. We can go out there and make as much as we want. We can start as many businesses. Miss Paris had multiple business. You saw Eric had multiple businesses. So we can go out there and we can continue to grow and grow and grow. But are we putting a plan together to kind of break that cycle? So my action step, for this piece is write down what you want your finances to be in 5 years, right? And back in corporate America, we called this budgeting. Every year we had to go through a budgeting cycle. We had to look at a forecast over X amount of years. But in the small business world, I find that not a lot of people actually practice that exercise of budgeting. But if you don't have a plan, I heard a quote that I used to say when I was in corporate America a lot. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Right? So make sure that you have a plan in place. Look at your finances over the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and does that really support the growth that you're looking to achieve? So in summary, talent and hustle will get you in the game, but discipline, dedication, and determination will keep you there. The most successful entrepreneurs, they don't just work hard, they manage their finances with intention. And we need to have that intention when you're managing your finances. And that's all I had today. I wanted to keep it short and sweet, just in case anybody had any questions. But if any of this kind of resonated with you, or you need help with your business finances, I'm sure Hutch is going to put my information in the chat as well. You can feel free to reach out to me, and we can help you see what we can do. Thank you very much.
You were absolutely right. Definitely putting your information in the chat, and I'd like for you to talk about something that you mentioned and just expand on it a little bit, and that is the financial dashboard. one of the things that I know how critical it is that people think a lot of times about their bookkeeping and their accounting as a way just to say, let me see how much money I made and let me get my taxes done. But the
Yep.
reality is your accounting and your financial statements really should be guiding decisions that you're making. And I'm sure your financial dashboard is probably something that helps to enable them to get a better grip on how to use that information to make good decisions. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we use Power BI. We use usually Microsoft products, and we use Power BI. And what a lot of these, most people, small businesses use QuickBooks, and QuickBooks is a great tool for bookkeeping. However, when you look at making business decisions, it's not the best at making business decisions. So what I tell people is you have to know your numbers, right? Like I know for my company, for every dollar I make, I know how much I lose in gross profit, and I know how much I make in net income. So when I'm out there making decisions about a customer that I want to take on, or for me, all of our services are a la carte, so we build out pricing. I know what my time is worth. I know what my team's time is worth. I know what it takes to support a customer, and that's how I could come up with pricing that doesn't put me in a bad place. And the way that I do that is leveraging, like you said, Power BI and dashboards, because it puts it at your fingertips, right? You don't have to be in front of a computer. You don't have to log into QuickBooks or know this about background information. All you got to do is kind of open up your Power BI dashboard, and it can tell you exactly what you've made, what the profit is. You can go buy different products. You can go buy different services that you offer. You could get to a granular level to help you make, like Hutch said, those business decisions that you need to make, and that's going to help grow your business.
I'd like to share something that was kind of a benchmark that I developed some years ago, and it's really laid into what you do, Dominique. And is this: I had a woman come to me. I mean, this was probably 35 years ago, and asked me she wanted to expand her business, and so I asked her a couple of questions. I said, "Well, let me ask you a question. There's three things that I think can help you decide if it's time for you to expand your business. The first question is, do you have money left over at the end of the month on a regular basis? And is that happening at least 3 months in a row where you got money that you can set aside? You don't need it for anything, payroll, inventory, nothing. You can put that aside. Okay. The second thing is, do you have time to actually look at your business at the end of the month and evaluate it? I mean, not just say, hey, okay, I got, $2,000 in the bank account, so I'm okay. Let me keep on going the next month. But to really sit down and take a look at your business. And then thirdly, are you getting, if you will, financial statements, as it relates to your P&L from your bookkeeping or your accountant, so that when you are looking at your business, you're looking at something that's giving you intelligence. Does that resonate as you think that we need to really focus on for anybody who's in business if they're looking at growing their business, managing their business well, being able to do those three things is a good benchmark to know if they're doing well, if they're ready to go to the next level or expand?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those are great questions. I mean, the first part that you mentioned, I think, goes to cash flow, right? And that's what we talked about. And I would say you want about 6 months of cash flow, right? So that means that you have cash in the bank to cover all of your expenses for 6 months. And depending on the growth and how aggressive you want to be, but that's really, where I want to go. And then in terms of understanding your numbers and looking at report, I had a customer one time, I was doing an intake, and I asked them, how do you know when you make money? And their answer was, I look at my bank account. I was like, well, your bank account could lie to you, right? Because if you make $100,000, but you owe $200,000 to other people, then what have you really made, right? You're still sitting in the negative, right? So you do need to make sure that you're looking at your financials holistically, not even just your P&L. Look at your accounts payable, look at who owes you, and look at who you owe, right? And make sure that you understand what cash is coming in and also what your responsibilities are, going out. But I agree with what you said there, Hutch, for sure.
Anybody have any questions for Dominique?
See, Denise has her
Hi,
hand up.
Okay, Denise, go right ahead.
hi, Dominique. Good morning. Nice meeting
Morning.
you on online here.
Yeah.
Um, Question, the Power VI that you mentioned, is that taking the place of QuickBooks or is that in addition to QuickBooks?
It's in addition to QuickBooks. So they do speak to each other. There is a way that we kind of sync those up and speak to each other. If you are a Microsoft shop, then you can get Power BI for, I think it's $10, $10 a month for a user. If you're
Mhm.
in Google, there's a different platform, Google Data Studio that we would use, and I'm not familiar with the pricing in that, but it achieves the same thing. And what it is it's your KPIs, right? What are you doing? How are you measuring your business? What are the KPIs of your business? Whether that's cash flow, whether that's your AR, your sales, whatever that is. But it's putting it just at your fingertips on the go at any point.
So Dominique, what's a KPI?
It's a key performance measure, right? Or indicator is the I in KPI. And what that is how do you know how your business is running well? So for example, if you're selling inventory, a days on hand might be a KPI, right? If you have an inventory and products, you want to make sure you have 30, 60, 90 days on hand. So your days on hand is a KPI for you. Or in another business, it might be days sales outstanding, right? How much sales that you have out there that you haven't collect, and how quickly are you collecting it? What does that look like? So those are just different ways for you to measure your business in a snapshot. And every business should have about 3 to 5, KPIs that you're measuring today.
And KPIs are not quite as easy as setting goals. Okay, so you can set a goal, which is really easy, but a KPI is truly tied to the performance of your business. And so when you're looking at KPI, it's telling you how well it's performing, because it's not just about reaching a certain point, but how the business is performing to get to that point. And are you under, over, or right at the point? And someone like you, Dominique, is going to be really well positioned and knowledgeable to help someone to create a KPI. Because again, it's not just as simple as saying setting a goal, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. But you've got to look at how does your business make money? How do you know your business is in a healthy position? What does that look like? It's not just a sales number or a revenue number, right? It is, how are you generating that revenue? Because like we talked about, numbers are not always created equal, right? What you have at the top isn't necessarily what you keep at the bottom. And we want to make sure we're keeping as much at the bottom line as possible.
All right.
And Dominique, I had a real quick question. This is Grant. Is that
Yes, sir.
time-based? Do you have your KPIs like per week, per month, per quarter, that type of thing?
Yes, correct. And it could be all of those, right? It could be a weekly KPI. Again, if it's inventory or overtime hours or something like that, that's a metric that, if you go over a certain amount of overtime hours in a week, you're going to have cash flow problems. That could be a weekly thing. But then you can look at, monthly, you can look at, like we talked about, inventory on hand. And then quarterly, it could be days sales outstanding. And then yearly, you can have KPIs. So it should be time bound for sure, but it should be consistent across that. It should be always measured by that time frame, if that makes sense.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, we're wrapping up, and guys, we really appreciate our three speakers, Eric, Dominique, and Telena. Let's give them a round of applause, and do the reactions and however you want to do that. But we really appreciate you guys. I want to ask Angelina Buckley. I'm going to introduce one more person. Angelina, take 30 seconds to tell people who you are and what you do and how you can help them.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm a certified coach in leadership and communications. So companies hire me to do team building for executive coaching, and that's about it. There is more, but
All right. Well, thank you so much. We want to just, again, this is about getting you connected and knowing people who are there. There's also someone here who is going to be honored by ICABA coming up in March. And I want to ask her to introduce herself real quick. Dr. Sinatus and Martine.
yes,
bring you, and just a couple of seconds,
and we have another
getting a lot of feedback there. Tammy McDonald.
Tammy McDonald.
Well, so Tammy, first Martine, 30 seconds, who you are and what you do, and we'll do the same thing with Tammy, and then we're going to get out of here.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Mr. Hutchinson. My name is Dr. Martine Sonatas. I am a board-certified psychiatric mental health and family nurse practitioner. I'm president of Pathways to Wellness Foundation, where we provide care to underserved individuals in rural areas. We provide mental health care, primary care to those who do not have insurance, who are uninsured. I'm excited to be here, and thank you so much for the nomination and being honored.
All right. So
let me mute there, Martine. I think that's where the feedback might be coming from.
Okay, thank you so much. So got a note from Tammy. She had to run off. She's running late for a meeting. But I want to also just tell you that the poll is up on for Dominique. If you could take that, his contact information is in the chat. And I want to share with you let you know what's coming up for next week. And so our event, okay, hold on here. Our event next week for ICABA Biz Connect, we've got great speakers, and we're going to be led, if you will, by my good friend and ICABA member, Dr. Dion Roundtree. And so I'm going to share so you can see the full lineup that we've got going on for next week. And here we go. All right. So also you can go to the ICABA website to kind of keep up with all the events that are coming up. And we've got, see here, I'm on the wrong screen. Well, let me just tell you. So we've got Dion Roundtree, Roundtree Training and Consulting. We've also have Grant McGaw. And I got to tell you guys, Grant is going to help you with something with your ChatGPT. You've heard us talk about ChatGPT a little bit today, and he worked with me yesterday in training, if you will, my ChatGPT to be a partner in ICABA, so that when I ask ChatGPT for anything that I need for ICABA, they're not just answering it based upon the knowledge of the marketplace, but now we've trained ChatGPT about what ICABA is and what it's all about. And so the information I'm getting now is so much better and so much focused on who we are. And so we're really excited, about the event that we've got coming up with them next week. And I want to invite everyone to be here next Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. And we will see you on next Wednesday, February 19th. And have a great week.
Do we want to take a picture or no?
No, it's okay. We'll move on.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Level up your success with the ICABA World Network, where accomplished Black professionals and entrepreneurs have created a thriving global ecosystem built from valuable connections and impactful collaborations. Be a part of a trusted network that uplifts, inspires, and enhances your success. Join like-minded and leading Black professionals to foster meaningful relationships, unlock opportunities, and access the resources you need to thrive in your career, business, and life. Go to ICABAWorldNetwork.com and join today.